Hello, this is Professor Brown-Sederberg, and what I'd like to do is just demonstrate a nested if-else. Now, we remember this demonstration of a simple if-else where we hard-coded a number and allowed the user to enter an int, and we told them whether they had guessed the correct number or not, and we did that using a simple if-else. And what I'd like to do in this program, which is a demonstration of a nested if-else, what I'd like to do is I'd like to allow the user to enter a number as we have here, and having a hard-coded value, I'd like to tell the user if their guess is above, below, or equal to the number that is hard-coded. So we're giving the user an opportunity to enter a number. We're going to tell them whether their guess is high, low, or correct. And so we'll create a new class right here, and we'll call this a demo of a nested if-else, and we'll have the same code that we had before, but here instead of this asking the user or asking if the user input is equal to n and then telling the correct or is not, we're going to give them some clues. So let's change this just a little bit. I'm going to, in my first, I'll just leave that as I have it. If the user input is equal to n, I'll say that it's correct and be on my way. If the user input is not equal to n, what I'd like to do is tell them if they're greater than or less than the value of n. So associated with this if, we have an if and then we have this associated else, but our else will give us another if. So if the user input is equal to n, we'll print out correct and be done. If user input is not equal to n, we'll come to this, the else, and the else will be another if, our nested if. And here we'll say, let us test if the user input is greater than n. And if it is, we'll print out to the screen that their answer is too high. So we've asked them for their input, we've compared it to n. If they have entered the correct value, we tell them it's correct, we're out. Otherwise, that's our else. We ask this second question. Is the user input greater than n? And if it is, we print out that their answer is too high. Now, if this condition evaluates to false, we'll have another if statement that's associated with this, the else. So here we're saying if this is true, do this. Otherwise, ask this question. If that's true, do this. Otherwise, ask another question. And that question would be, if it's true that the user input is less than n, we will print to the screen, and we can use this. We'll say too low. So let's see if we can compile this. And we'll try to have better typing. Now let's see if we can compile now. And we have a clean compile. Let's run. And so we'll have the user enter in an int, and let's have them enter 54. We know that's too low and we're told that. Let's run again. We'll enter in 78. We know that's too high. We're told that. Let's run again. Enter in 57, our hard-coded value. We know that's correct. So this construct asks a question. If that condition, if that question is answered true, we execute the associated code. If not, we ask another question. If that question's answer is true, if the condition of value is to true, we execute some code. Otherwise, we ask another question. And if that question is true, we execute some associated code. Now, if you're looking at this, our example works just fine, but it really asks one more question that it needs. If I know that the user input's not equal to and not greater than, it must be less than. So I really could do away with this third question and simply print that the answer is too low. I don't have to ask this last question because I know from mathematics that if something's not equal to or greater than, it must be less than. So here we have a nested if-else. We have an if, the associated else is another if. That if, its associated else, is another if. This is a nested if-else.